the second day's play of the World Junior Chess Championship 2014 being held at Pune, Maharashtra. As the rounds progress, we see stronger opposition meeting even stronger players. Thus, there are long games, there are well-fought battles, and it has started in the very second round. We saw on the very first board the top-seeded Fedoseev of Russia being held to a creditable draw in a very hotly contested game, which even went on till 61 moves. From the Indian point of view, there were obviously quite a few players who did very well today, thus scoring full points. All in all, it was a mixed day for Indians, but still lot of hopefuls are still making it very good grades, and we are going to talk to many of them through our show. The ballroom of Hyatt Pune, where the World Junior Championship 2014 is being held. The games have just started, and we joined the action with the top board of the girls section. Aleksandra Goryachkina, who is defending her title, the Russian women grandmaster, pitted against Maria Gevorgyan of Armenia. Once again, Armenia, Russia being powerhouses of women's chess. It's fitting that they are on the second board here. It's still early days of the game, and the game ended in a very tough draw. This is the second board clash between Arabidze, Georgian international master, and Janelema Freina of Philippines. Arabidze went on to score quite a smooth victory here. This was one of the best positional games of this round, and Arabidze almost got a very good portion just out of the opening itself. This was an interesting game between Daria Pustovaitova of Russia versus Mila Zarkovic of Serbia, and the Russian FIDE master went on to score a win. Deep in concentration in a game out of the Nimzo Indian defense, as you can say, one of the topical variations. This is the Indian hopeful Padmini Ruth pitting her wits against Tihana Ivakovic of Croatia on the fifth board. It was quite a test for Padmini today in a very good tactical battle out of the Sicilian defense. Padmini went on to score a long win. This was again an interesting game between Nguyen Thi Mai Hung of Vietnam versus J. Charanya of India. The women FIDE master, Charanya, lost the game to her Vietnamese opponent. Madhurima Shekhar of India lost her game today against Mona Khalid of Egypt. It was a game out of the French defense. Now you see P.V. Nandita, another well-known name in the Indian circuit, pitting a wit against another Indian opponent, Varshini. Very large contingent of European participants here in this World Junior Chess Championship. Vaishali of India pitting her wits against Annie Krumova of Bulgaria. Annie Krumova, a very enthusiastic girl, very excited about coming to India. A large Indian contingent here in Pune, taking advantage of the fact that the tournament is being held in India itself. Sara Sadat of Iran from the friendly neighborhood. A panoramic view of the beautiful tournament hall here, as you can see. The boys section, Robin van Kampen, an extremely well fought game on the second board. The game followed very topical line of the Taimanome, and in a very complicated position. Obviously the young Chinese international master by Jinshi. His opening preparations stood him in good stead as he introduced an 18-move novelty with rook dg8 to draw the game. A very important third board clash between Gevorgyan of France and Wei of China. The Chinese grandmaster, very young, very high rated at 26-41, scored quite a smooth victory from a game which started off from an English opening. Deep in concentration, both Gevorgyan and Wei. This was the much awaited top board clash. Vladimir Fedoseev, very highly rated at 26-61, clashing against Bogdan Deac of Romania. It looked quite promising for Fedoseev throughout the game. What started off as an Imzo-Indian had contours of a Catalan or a Slav structure. At some point, Fedoseev even managed to capture a pawn and was a pawn up in an endgame, but he drew the game after 61 moves of a long, memorable clash, where though he had a pawn up the position, he could not make much headway here. These are the top boards segregated from the rest of the tables in a single row, including boys and girls. The Indian player is Prasanna, you see on your screen, with thumbs cuttons. Siva Mahadevan, another very young talent from Chennai, playing against Sayantan Das, an Indian international master. Shardul Gagare, a local talent, Pune based, matching it against Pragananda, young Pragananda. Shardul won the game. There were many clashes between Indians and foreigners here. Yashas of India clashing with his Russian opponent here. S.L. Narayanan, the newly crowned national junior champion. He drew his game yesterday, but today was indeed a good day for him. He went on to win against Anish Gandhi of India. Sahaj Grover, grandmaster from Delhi, against another Indian opponent. In fact, throughout the game today, Sahaj was under a lot of pressure, and he confessed after the game that he indeed was looking only to defend throughout the game, but at some point he grabbed his chances and went on to beat his Indian opponent. Vidit always looked as if he didn't have more than a very slight advantage in the middle game, but in a rook and pawn ending with 4 pawns against 3 pawns on the same side, he managed to convert today. A very remarkable achievement by Vidit. The Orbiter team from Chennai, very hard at work on the table. Generally, this tournament has been accepted as being conducted quite nicely. Very spacious tournament hall. A remarkable thing about chess tournaments is the level of concentration you see here. Professor Anantram, a well-respected arbiter from India, is the chief arbiter of this tournament. And outside, the parents waiting for their children to finish their games. There are clearly marked areas here for the press, the organizers, the live commentary, everyone. Very good facilities. There's live commentary on the internet with video feed, which happens every day after the start of the game at 2:30, going on till 8:30, and you see a team of experts, international masters and women international masters, majority from Pune, seeing the games on the screens and commenting live for a very large audience of more than 1,000 to 2,000 on a daily basis watching the games. Amrita Mokal is also an accomplished photographer, and you see some of her best photographs from this game and before. So with its second win in a row, was it as easy as yesterday?
Not at all. Actually, it was quite tough. Out of the opening, I had a slight advantage, but he defended really well. At one point, he sacrificed a pawn, and I was forced to go into this rook endgame, 4 versus 3, and it's very drawish. But somehow I managed to put some pressure, and he made some mistakes. So after that, it was easy.
Syed's second win of the tournament, how did it go today?
Well, it was a very long and a very tiring match, to be honest. Initially, I caught him in the opening, but somehow there was this move order with bishop g5 and knight d2, and somehow I got confused, and I got a really bad position. And I was trying to equalize throughout the game, and somehow and somewhere in the middle game, he played he got into a rook endgame. I mean, it was like a transposition, which was bad for him. And I mean, okay, he was in time pressure, so maybe he didn't realize that. But initially, it was a disaster. But okay, I managed to come up at the end.
Padmini, congratulations for winning today's game.
Thank you.
How did it go?
I got advantage from the opening, like I got attack, and her pieces were stuck on the king side, and she couldn't bring them into some counterplay towards the end. It seemed like there was some counterplay, but it was just winning.
And were you happy with the flow of your game, the thought process and your form?
Yeah, I'm happy for today's game, but at one point in the opening, I played bishop d2. I think it was not necessary. Like I could have just started with the attack with f5.
Srinath, how was the game today, and how did it go?
Played against Deac. It was a knight of h3 variation. We played his e6 d5 system. It was a kind of harmless looking question, but there were a lot of intricacies. And I'd already played some 3-4 games in the same variation. So I thought I understood the intricacies much better than my opponent. And that helped me win the game fairly confidently.
Nandita, congratulations. 2 straight wins. Can you tell us more about these 2 games?
First round I played with Sunya Shakta Satpathy from India. It was quite a good game, and after a small combination I won a pawn, and then it went to king and pawn ending, and it with 1 pawn up, so I won easily in endgame. And today I played with against V Varshini. Today she played Scaven Engine, and her pieces were totally cramped, so I played c4. After c4 she cannot move anything, so she should gave her exchange her queen, so she gave her exchange, and then I won easily.
Ankit, second win of the tournament. Congratulations. How did it go today?
Thank you very much. It was a tough game actually. It was a Karakan pawn on that Botvinnik attack. I made exchange which was in his favour in the opening because I didn't want to go on a complete equal line, and he hit some initiative. And then actually in the opening I missed a tactic by him in which after which I had a b6 pawn weakness, and I think white had some pressure, but then he couldn't capitalize it, and he played very passively, and so I got some chances. But the thing was that he had only one weakness, and I couldn't attack by any of my pieces, so I sacrificed an exchange for it, and then I got 2 pawns with an exchange, so I had full compensation, but things were not clear. And then
so was this sacrifice of exchange, was it intentional?
Yes, it was intentional, because the thing is that I had there was no breakthrough. The only chance was exchange sacrifice, otherwise I have nothing. So I knew that with perfect play he can draw, but okay, he then made a mistake, and then Then I got 3 pawns for an exchange, and then I just liquidated to an endgame. He had rook and 1 pawn, and I had bishop and 4 pawn, and that 2 connected. So, and then I exchanged that pawn, and I had 3 connected passports. So after that, it was not so difficult.
So at the end of the second round of the World Junior Championship, we have 17 players who are on 2 points, and out of them, 10 of them Indians in the open section. And we have a very, very crucial game coming up tomorrow in the third round between Grandmaster Vidit Gujarati and Grandmaster Sahej Grover on the very second board. And on the girls' side, there are 10 players with 2 points, among them 5 of them being Indians. And you see Nandita playing on the second board tomorrow, to her credit, and on the third board we have an all-Indian clash between Ivana Fortida and Padmini Ruth. Stay tuned.